Yeah, hi, and thanks for turning in. This was a video I didn't plan on making, but after the experience I had with the six-pack engine and the camshaft problems I had, I decided to do this one and post it. This is a 1968 440, and it's basically a mild, street engine build. Nothing exotic, 30 over, KB 236 piston, hypereutectic, compression ratio around 9.4 to 1. Just a mild NOS Cam Dynamic Stage 2 cam, flat tappet hydraulic. And after it was all assembled, I put it on my test stand to break in the camshaft, check for leaks, all that kind of stuff. And it seemed to break in fine. Good oil pressure, good manifold vacuum, no fluctuating needle, no nothing like that. Everything looked cool. But I had this just nagging feeling that I should check into it just to make sure. I don't know why. Just, I guess with all the problems you hear about the flat tappet camshafts now, and that's for all the brands, whether it's Chevy, Ford, Chrysler, AMC, everyone seems to be experiencing, camshaft wipeouts, lifter failures, etc., etc. So I decided to tear into it because there's no way I'm going to sell an engine to somebody that I don't know is working absolutely perfectly. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end, so, this is how I do things. Anyways, I'm glad I did. Because it turns out this would have been a nightmare after, who knows how many hours or maybe how many miles. This was a slow destruction of lifters, and it would have been the slow destruction of camshaft. As I'll show you what I'm talking about. This engine was run for about 40 minutes. Total time. About 30 minutes for the camshaft break-in, and I spent about 10 minutes dialing in the carb and setting the timing up the way I wanted to. So hopefully this shows up okay. Anyways, you'll see from the patterns here with the felt marker, it's just a streak across the lifter face. Streak across the lifter face. Streak across the lifter face. No rotation. The ironic part of this is that these are the comp cam lifters that were supplied for the second warranty. And I thought, well, I'm not using real stiff valve spring pressure, that these things would, hopefully would be okay in this build. And as you can see, there's a circular pattern on most of them. Right? Circular, circular. This one here, a little bit questionable. I don't like oval. Oval's not a good sign to me. But any of the other ones, they all sort of seem to be circular. And when I installed them in the engine during mock-up, right, I check everything now. I checked for lifter crown. And when I build engines, this is a stroker, through a small block 360 stroker for a customer. And I'm using the Hughes variable duration 5003s from Johnson. And when I build an engine, all engines, right, I get a felt marker. I mark the edge of the lifter. Install it in the lifter bore with just a touch of WD-40 on the side of the lifter. Dry bottom of the lifter, dry camshaft. Bolt it together, put a speed handle on it. Mind you, of course, there's no timing chain or anything like that. This is pre-assembly. Rotate it with a speed handle and check for lifter rotation. If I don't get lifter rotation on all 16 lifters, then it's time to investigate what's happening with the lobe or with the lifter face. Anyways, this is what I did with this 440 engine. I do them with all of them because I don't trust what's going on out there as far as lifter quality, camshaft quality, who makes it, whatever. I double check everything now. And so these pattern, they all rotated. Oh, okay, cool. That's good. It looks like the cam was ground right. And the lifters had a crown on it. We're A-OK spanky. Well, obviously that wasn't the case when you look at these lifters. Now what's going on? This is the second cam from the 446 pack engine that I did. There's a part number. And these are the lifters. Now these lifters aren't comp. These were high performance Melling. I didn't want to use the same lifters again. I wanted to try a different lifter to see if there was any change. And of course these lifters they all spun. They were all damaged. Or not all of them, but the vast majority of them are. This is a camshaft. Now when you look at this camshaft, what becomes obvious is the wear across the nose of the lobe. Completely worn across, 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 all of them, all 16 of them, completely worn across, 7-minute runtime. Notice something different? These are the Mellings. Those are the comps. Let me find my pointer again. Sorry about that. Comps, 110 spring pressure on the 68 440. Flat. There's a divot being ground across the face of the lifter. Same thing here. Flat pattern. Flat pattern. Flat pattern, divot across the lifter face, divot across the lifter face. Look at these ones here on the other camshaft. Rotation pattern, rotation pattern, rotation pattern. This one here, hard to tell what the hell happened. I mean, besides it getting chewed up, but it's chewed evenly in a circular pattern. It's concave. Concave, 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 but they all have circular patterns. These lifters were rotating. What am I supposed to deduct from this? Were these lifters properly hardened? And these lifters not properly hardened? This camshaft, you're going to tell me this is... the metallurgical properties in this camshaft are what it's supposed to be? The right carbon content? The right heat treating? When every lobe across the nose is flat. On the Cam Dynamic, in this engine, just to show you, hopefully I try not to shake too much, a number of the lobes have a wear pattern. Some of them are across the whole nose of the lobe, but not all of them. And this is 40-minute runtime. Most of this has a decent pattern on them, but the ones that do show up with complete wear across the lobe, I don't know if I can show you one here. I think this one here. Yeah. That I don't like. And when I have that kind of wear, there's a problem. And again, 40-minute runtime. So I have a number of lobes that have edge-to-edge wear, right? Instead of just having a pattern where there's darkness on the edges across the nose. That's a normal wear pattern, especially for this time. 40 minutes. So this cam, hopefully, is salvageable. It's going to be taken out of the engine, and I'm going to send it down to a cam grinder I've got, and we'll put it on the Cam Doctor, check the specs on it. Hopefully it won't need regrinding, and I just have to reparkerize it for hardness. And it's a usable camshaft again. It will be a usable camshaft. There's not enough damage done to it. Well, what's going on here? I mean, how do I rectify this problem? This is basically a mild street build. I got to go to a roller cam for a mild street build? Cylinder heads just have they're properly rebuilt. You know, guides are done, 3-angle valve job, but it's basically a single spring with a damper. meets the valve specs. So now I have to, if you're going, I'll show you the cam card here. This cam is a stage 2. It's a symmetrical pattern, 477 lift, 228 duration, 108 degree lobe separation angle, seat pressure of 110 pounds, and an open pressure of 330 at 125. Valve spring pressures range from a low of 108 to a high of 118. And I have decent equipment here. That's my valve spring tester. I use a calibrated spring, and I check it every time I go to do valve spring testing. And it's always within a few pounds. So I know my valve springs, the numbers I'm getting are accurate. And I say, how do I rectify this? The only way I can see rectifying this right now is that the only one that seems to really be standing behind as far as the warranty goes is Hughes, and they're using Johnson's, the high lift flat tappet lifters. And supposedly Johnson's is still American made in the USA. And I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they're stating on their website. And so far so good, I haven't had any problems with the Johnson lifters. But can you imagine the cost now of building a stock street engine of this era and having to go roller camshaft just to make it work? With a retrofit roller camshaft, that's custom length push rods. That's more expensive than unique valve springs. I mean, we're just getting into a whole different territory here for cost. And for what? And why? I don't get it anymore. So how are we going to solve this problem? Stop building these engines? Or just bite the bullet? It's become a real dilemma. How do I justify, and especially in Canada, where I'm at, $200 to $2,500 extra expense just to put roller valve train in? Basically a stock engine. I don't know, you tell me. A lot of the guys are saying, they talk about the lubrication, it's an oil problem. Well, when I did this, when I took the intake manifold off and the valley pan off, I put the oil pump drive, primer drive in here, and I spun it, maybe about a couple hundred RPM with the drill. And this whole area is just flooded with oil, and I'm going to do a video on that in the future sometime just to show. Because these guys, it's an oil delivery problem. Like hell it is. This was just flooded with oil. And I use high zinc oils. So is it the oils? I doubt it. The oil thing isn't a problem. It's a metallurgical problem. It's a case hardening problem. And I think my lifters are proving it. Well, you tell me what you think. Anyways, it's a real dilemma. I'm not sure what to do. My plan is to use the Johnson's lifters with this camshaft after I get it checked out, and see if they hold up. If not, I have no choice. I'm gonna have to go to a roller camshaft. What a system. Anyways, thanks for your time. Bye now.